Hi everybody, it's John back again with another final reveal video. This time it's the turn of the Airfix 176 scale HO00 German reconnaissance set. I had a lot of fun building this kit. It actually builds incredibly easily. I thought I was going to have some issues. I do remember building this kit before when I was a bit younger. And I do remember having issues with the Kübelwagen, but I guess it was because I wasn't particularly experienced at modelling at the time, because I found this kit incredibly easy to put together. It just fell together. There was no fit issues whatsoever. The armoured car, I don't know actually. I know the gun definitely elevates, and this should rotate, but I think the paint has actually stuck it to the top. It's a shame actually, because the gun elevates, and the actual armoured car top that the gun sat in, it does actually rotate, but I think the paint has just stuck it in a bit at the moment. But it does rotate quite easily, and it's nice. And the three crew figures, actually there's two machine gunner guards and some guy there. I'll actually put him in his correct position, because the officer is on this side of the Kübelwagen. And he's got a map in front of him there, and he should be showing the officer the plans. This is what we're going to do, mein Führer. We will take the Africa Corps by surprise, like usual. This is in desert colours from the Western Desert Campaign in North Africa. And the SDKFZ 222 armoured car is a really nicely, faithfully reproduced little kit. It's really nice. It's reasonably accurate as well, and the gun, the gun itself, the actual barrel of the gun, it's probably a little bit on the heavy side, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad out. And even the Kübelwagen itself has an optional part. You can put an MG13 machine gun onto that little support there, and you have an option for an open or a closed Kübelwagen roof, which is quite nice. Again, I've painted the roof of the Kübelwagen in a semi-matte colour to give it a leather sort of weatherproof look, because as I only found this out a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to somebody who actually, because being a taxi driver as I am, you get exposed to a lot of different types of people, and this particular guy lives in an old people's home up here where I live in the northeast of England. And he's a hyphen of information, because he actually served in the Western Desert. He wasn't in the 8th Army Infantry. He was a member of the support for the British Army, and he almost like a driver for the RCT, if you like. And he said that most of the vehicles that were operational, even the ones in the desert, because he served in, he was a support troop for most of the 8th Army's campaign throughout World War II. And even in the Western Desert, as well as the European theatre, a lot of these vehicles that had the canvas tops, they were weatherproofed in much the same way that Barbour jackets are, to keep the rain and the frost out of whatever they're covering. And it just made the roofs last longer. And it was the same for the Germans. So he noticed that there were a number of German vehicles that were obviously, knocked out or abandoned in the desert. And their canvas tops for a lot of their vehicles, not always all of them, but most of their vehicles, and certainly their Kübelwagens and German light support vehicles and munition support vehicles, their canvas covers were waxed, and they weren't shiny, but they had a sort of a leathery look about them. And I've noticed that since I've incorporated that, I did it with the half track that I did last week, and I've done it with this kit, it actually makes them look a little bit more realistic. I think it's added to the overall appearance of the vehicles. In my opinion, the German reconnaissance set is a really nice set to have as maybe a diorama, or just a part of your collection and everything. For a diorama, I think it's a superb little set to have. As I said, it's incredibly easy to build. It's very easy to build and paint. I painted this kit, as you'll see in the build progress pictures. I painted these kits virtually as I went along. And the way they construct is very simple, very easy, and they went together relatively quickly. even the crew figures, I think the crew figures are relatively accurate and they're the correct size. Very impressed with this kit. I would thoroughly recommend this model to all diorama builders and collectors. It's a real gem. It's one of Airfix's fantastic little diorama sets. I'll be honest with you, most of their military sets, like the recovery set, the emergency set, they're actually very good. They're very, very good. Airfix military vehicles, and most of their tanks, but not all of them, were exceptional. Especially the ones that were designed and released in the mid to late 70s. They were absolutely fantastic. And this is no exception. So this is the final reveal video for the German reconnaissance set. Hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments, and if there's any questions I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for tuning in, lads. See you again for the next. Bye bye.